this is really common. Lots of people feel it. The kind of conversations around, like, I feel like I'm being judged. People usually aren't doing that. Like, we recognize, certainly the gym culture that I've been around, recognize there will always be newbies in the gym, and it's okay to feel that way, and it's okay to take yourself off, have a little breather, and then come back. Welcome back to the Smart Strength Training Podcast. Now, we are on episode 14, and today we're talking about gym floor anxiety. So it's 2024, and with social media and just the popularity of the gyms these days, gyms are much less intimidating than they've ever been before. They're much more inclusive than ever before. But let's not beat around the bush. They are still quite intimidating places, as much as they have improved. And I think we all feel it to a degree. I've been a trainer for 23 years, and I went to a gym quite recently. It was a gym with a lot of equipment I'd not seen before, which is kind of weird considering how long I've been in the industry, but a lot of very big rugby guys training in this gym. And I remember being very, very nervous going into the gym. I procrastinated all morning about going. And then I signed up. The guy that signed me up was super lovely. And I was just sort of looking around the gym floor. People are working out. I went to this bit of kit, and I just thought I'll just gave it a go, put some weight on it, and thought, actually, I put quite a lot of weight on it straight away. It's quite heavy. I didn't have much more scope to put any more weight on it before I was sort of doing 6 reps, and then I was sort of struggled and I was done. I stripped that weight off and moved on to the next bit of kit. And then this massive dude went and got on the machine, put on basically what I put on for 6 reps, and just started doing like 12 reps or something as a warm up. And I was like, oh, this is super embarrassing. Everyone saw that. And so I get it. And we all feel that feeling of intimidation, that feeling of nervousness about different things when we're going into the gym. And it's something that comes up in my Q&A. I do a Q&A every 2 weeks on Instagram, and the topic of this anxiety around training comes up all the time. So let's first up just normalize it, and let's talk about what can be some common triggers. So first up is just obviously new to the gym, feeling a little bit out of place, not really knowing what anything does, what the equipment does, and what the exercises are. Gyms are quite crowded. They are quite crowded spaces. It's very intimidating to have that many people around you. It's overstimulating. Of course, then you get that feeling like you're being watched whilst you're in there as well. Sometimes there'll be people that just look like they're really know what they're doing. They're super fit. They've got their abs out. So they just look like everyone looks like they're really fit and know exactly what's going on in their own workouts, and you're coming in and it's new to you. Like I mentioned already, that those machines can be quite complex to use. They've got big levers, but black and yellow and green, and they look like spaceships sometimes. That by itself can be quite intimidating. And then, of course, just sort of your own body image concerns, feeling quite self-conscious and out of place in the gym, especially again, going back to like some people obviously abs out, doing crazy things on bars sometimes in the gym. It can feel pretty hard to get going in that environment. And then just, I guess, a lack of privacy. Like, you're in that gym, open spaces, you're working out right by the people. It can be quite hard if you're just not used to it. And I think this is it. Like, for those that go to the gym regularly, sometimes they forget. I certainly do. If I'm just working out in the same gym all the time, you just get so used to being in that gym. So for me, it's actually quite nice to go to different gyms all the time, because you sort of go back to that newbie semi-frequently. And it's a good reminder for me that, yeah, it's nerve-wracking to do that. And for people that are totally new to exercise, that's like tenfold the feeling of nerves. And I think one of the things I will go on to say in a moment is about making sort of fitness a bit of a part of a social hub. But even by personal trainers and other gym goers sort of like all knowing each other, you sort of see those groups of sort of the trainers there and his mates there, they're all kind of like high-fiving and clapping each other. And that can feel quite intimidating by itself as well. Like, it might look a little bit cliquey, and I get it. Like, some people just don't, that's not their normal environment to be in. And potentially it's not the sort of person that wants to be super chatty whilst they're in the gym. I think fitness online and the gym culture online can be great, but it can also be quite negative. You get like trolling trainers saying you shouldn't be doing this, or if you do that, you'll blow your knees out, or like you should be more disciplined. All these awful personal trainer taglines. It just makes people feel like they're going to be judged from the get-go. And it's like I've touched on already, as much as gyms have improved, strength training specifically, there is still that gender dynamic in the gym, where it does still feel, in like a lot of gyms, like the strength training areas are still quite a heavily male dominated space. And we all feel like there's fun, like 4 young lads on a bench press, all like chatting, and you've got to go over and ask, oh, are you using that? It's not nice for anyone to have to go through that. So recognizing some of those kind of like classic triggers when it comes to anxiety. Now let's talk about what can be some good strategies to overcome them. So first up, when you're going to the gym, make sure you just book that familiarization tool. So maybe it's the reception staff or the sales staff, nothing to do with fitness. They take you around. At least you get to ask questions around how busy is the gym at certain times. You can look at the layout of the gym yourself, maybe to get a feel for where looks like the sort of zone that you could start your training journey. You're going to expand your training world, as I'm about to explain, but at first you just want to find someone that you can just get to and get going. Of course, then off the back of that as well, book your initial consultation with a personal trainer. The gym will always offer some sort of intro into the gym, and that really just needs to be for you. How do I use the equipment? Yes, they can build you a program. At this stage, I care more about what are 2 or 3 things I can do that you just show me how to do them, and you can go in and practice those 2 or 3 things. And don't be afraid of requesting maybe a PT that's either female or maybe a slightly older PT that isn't, no disrespect to like young guys, but I know as a 19-year-old personal trainer when I first started in the industry that like not everyone wants to do an induction with a 19-year-old kid. So you're okay to ask, can I work with a woman for this one? I think having a plan is key. There's lots of apps out there that you can use, but even if you don't want to do that, you could literally just say, right, I've seen online, you haven't got none of the names, this one where I hold a weight here and I bend my knees up and down, sort of write it down, just write down whatever you want to remind you of the exercise. Have maybe 4 exercises that you can do. Just have some sort of plan in place. When you're walking in, you're not walking into this super overwhelming space and then you're trying to put a workout together whilst feeling intimidated at the same time. I mentioned about finding that comfort zone. You can do that from the get-go. Generally speaking, when I start working with clients that are quite anxious about going to the gym, it's usually the dumbbells and the benches. Where the dumbbells, there's not huge bars, it's not hopefully too intimidating. 1 bench, maybe 2 different dumbbells, so you can just go there and get some work done. And that can be your world for the first 3 to 4 weeks whilst you think to expand out from there. Of course, if you've got access to any friends or partners that like to train, then going in with a friend or partner is an obvious one. Can book personal training sessions. Of course, that's quite expensive, but it could be a very nice way to get a program, maybe do a couple of sessions, get them to show you what to do, and then don't have a personal trainer again until the program needs refreshing, maybe in 8 weeks' time. That can be a really nice one, really nice way to sort of use personal trainers. And definitely start small. Start with, let's say, 20 minutes walking on the treadmill, and then go and do 2 strength exercises that you've already written down. The next time you come in, you do 20 minutes on the treadmill, you maybe just add in 1 other strength exercise. So you're sort of building out. So you're not coming in with this like 8 exercise plan and you've got to work through each one. That can be quite intimidating. So you can use those first early days, those first 1 to 8 weeks to sort of start and lay it out from there. And if you do end up feeling very stressed, then just take a sit down, have a breath, just deep breathing, just try and stay really relaxed. And just remember that this is really common. Lots of people feel it. The kind of conversations around, like, I feel like I'm being judged. People usually aren't doing that. Like, we recognize, certainly the gym culture that I've been around, recognize there will always be newbies in the gym. And it's okay to feel that way. And it's okay to take yourself off, have a little breather, and then come back. So there's some things to work around those initial kind of triggers, but I think it's good to have a longer term strategy, because that's good for the first 8 weeks. But maybe you do want to start to learn to use the leg press. Maybe you do want to start to use the barbells as well. So maybe starting to set some realistic goals to sort of build out on your confidence. So what could be the most obvious next step for you as far as your workout? So regularly, or sort of every 6-8 weeks, maybe updating your workout and saying, right, currently doing this goblet squat exercise where I hold a weight on my chest and bend my knees. You haven't got any names, but I've seen people do online this sort of machine with a bar sort of fixed into the cage, Smith machine. And I might start going there because that looks comfortable. I might go and speak to the personal trainers in the gym or the gym instructors and get a bit of an intro on that. So you're sort of like gradually building out your world. So you're taking a goblet squat to a Smith machine squat to maybe a back squat. And you might do that over a year-long period or a 6-month period, depending on their own confidence level. It could be a really great way to start to think longer term of how you're going to build this confidence whilst in the gym. I think if the gym does any kind of social activities, engage in that community, if that's social events, if that's an online forum, try and make that place a hub for you. Even if, and not everyone wants to be in those sort of social groups, but certainly creating a community. So you speak to the reception staff, you speak to the trainers that are in there whilst you're in there. You say hello to people that are the same kind of age and the same kind of vibe as you that are in that gym. So when you're going in, it's still quite comfortable just to sort of like raise your eyebrows and be like, oh, hey, and then you build out from there. I think it can be a really wonderful thing to do. And by doing that, then you start to become just more and more confident. You're walking in the gym, you're having like a 2-minute chat with that person. You've noticed they're doing a certain exercise. You ask about that. And it's a really wonderful place to sort of like start to build out from there. And this topic, so sort of finalize before we finish the episode, this topic comes up quite a lot with clients. And I've had lots of really wonderful experience seeing clients grow in confidence. And I know as a trainer, maybe as the industry might expect trainers to really love like weight loss and like clients hitting PBs. And it's nice, of course it's nice, but I actually take such a lot of joy from watching clients build their confidence in the gym. And I remember quite recently, well, certainly the last couple of years, I've been working with a client for years now online. And we very much went through the process I just spoke through, starting with dumbbells, recognize or acknowledge that space that you work in and start there, then build out, start doing barbells, start doing hip thrusts. And this client, like all my clients do, they submit workout videos to me. So you get a workout of them doing dumbbell RDLs or barbell RDLs, so I can check the technique. And then one day, just a video came into my my app, and my client was just wearing like a sports bra, mid-drift out, working out. And I just remember messaging her back and being like, I absolutely love this video. You look so happy, so confident, so in the zone. And it's the first time I've seen you wear anything that's not like a baggy t-shirt. And that growth in the gym, like seeing that confidence and how that confidence filters out into other areas of people's lives, for me, that's always going to be one of the most enjoyable things to work with anyone on, because that is like real world transfer just to everything that people do. Yes, getting stronger is awesome. Yes, losing weight for some people is a goal of theirs, but feeling more confident in that scenario and just feel more confident in your body, it's just awesome. And it's something about training and strength training that I think a lot of people now realize, but it's not probably championed enough. So just to wrap up, let's normalize this. Most people feel anxious and nervous at some point in time. I think it's super important that if you identify in yourself what things really trigger you, is it going to be that not knowing? Do you feel like people are watching you? What is the trigger? And if you know the trigger, what can you do around it? What can you do about it? Is it going to be going in and having a few PT sessions? Is it going to be starting a community to find out that people actually aren't judging you? People are just in the zone doing their own thing. And I guess in a truth is there will always be idiots and potentially people that look around and think certain things. You don't know what other people are thinking, and it doesn't really matter. So I think just if you create your own little hub, it's a really wonderful place to make the gym your own social hub. And like I said, not everyone wants to do that, and you haven't to be out high-fiving people, but in your own world, in your own sort of what feels right and consistent with your own beliefs, like creating a hub of people around you in the gym to support that, I think is a really nice thing to do. Like I mentioned, I have worked with lots of clients over the years on this, starting a program, building out from what feels most comfortable at first, and then at the client's pace, expanding their world. So we're bringing in the leg press machine, getting used to that, then bringing the barbell exercise, getting used to that. So if that's something that feels like you would like help doing that for you, then I am available for online training one-on-one.